In this video, I'll show you how to adjust the chain on your motorcycle. Let's go. One of the most basic tasks that you have to know how to do on your bike is adjusting your chain tension. As you ride, your chain will get looser. It'll stretch out and eventually you'll need to adjust it. So this is something that in my opinion, everyone should be able to do and it's not too difficult. I'm going to show you on my 2003 GSXR 600. If you don't have the same bike, you know what it is. Look up your own specs and any other differences, but most of this will apply to most bikes out there. Let's get started with the tools. Number one, you're gonna need a 36mm socket for your axle nut in the rear, a ratchet, a breaker bar, depending on how tight that is. It shouldn't be that tight. Needle nose pliers for the cotter pin that holds the axle nut in place. A 12mm and a 10mm open-ended wrench, some sort of measuring device, gloves for your, again, ladylike hands, and if you want to get scientific, a torque wrench. To measure your chain slack, find the middle point of your chain, that's between the front and the rear sprocket. Grab your measuring tape, lift all the way up, and then move it all the way down, push it down, and we can see that I'm almost at 2 inches. This chain should have no more than about 1 inch of flex. So if it's any more than that, we need to adjust it. Let's start at the rear of the bike. You're gonna have a cotter pin. Grab your needle nose and bend the 2 retaining legs, the bottom of the cotter pin, as straight as possible. And then go ahead and pull the cotter pin out. Assist it if necessary. Ow. Now grab your 36. You don't have to take it all the way out. You can just actually loosen it about 2 or 3 full rotations, then you're good to go. You're gonna see these marks here. They're the adjustment for the swing arm. You have these on both sides. Also, you're gonna have a 12mm nut and a 10mm bolt here that you're going to have to play with and adjust. So this is really simple to do. All you have to worry about is making sure that when you're done, this block that you have here, where your rear nut sits, this block has to be precisely the same on both sides. So you want to make sure that the markings are the same on both sides, this side and the opposite side of your tire there. Otherwise, you're going to be all crooked when you're going down the road on your bike. Not a good look. Start by loosening the 12mm. Like so. And now I'm going to push or drive this bolt out towards the rear of the bike. So righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And as I start to do that, this bolt will make contact with this aluminum block and it will start to push the entire system back here. I can see the block moving this way and I can see the chain taking up slack. Now, here's the thing about this adjustment. You need micro adjustments. So depending on your bike, and at least this is how it is on this bike, I don't need to move it that much. I'm actually gonna stop right here and I'm going to go to the other side and I'm going to make it even. So we're going to move it until I can't see that 7th mark anymore. You can see the block moving. You can see how the mark is almost disappearing on the bottom here. Let's measure it. That's about an inch of travel. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna leave it there. Once you have it set to where you like it, hold the 10 millimeter in place so it doesn't go anywhere. Take your 12 and tighten that firmly. And then repeat the same on the other side. Another thing to note, as you're tightening this nut right here, you will actually find out that once you get it all tight, this chain will be a lot tighter than it should be. And that's because as this goes on, it actually moves your block, your assembly that way. That's because, well, physics. As you're rotating that way, you're pressing it that way. So to get away from that, grab your chain and take the slack off it by pressing it down. Put your weight on the chain down here, then tighten it. And don't let go until you're all done, all tight. And all you gotta do now is torque it to spec. It's gonna be anywhere from 75 to 80 foot-pounds. The reason for that is that you also need to line up one of these grooves to the hole in your axle, I don't know what that's called, the actual rod where the thread is. So even if you have it at, let's say 80 foot-pounds right here, and then you're like, oh, it's perfect, you try to put this in, well, if you don't have one of these grooves lined up to the hole, it's not gonna work. And now we can measure the chain again. And we have about an inch. Yeah, right at an inch of play. And that's how much play you want under. And you're done. Thank you for staying till the very end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And as always, if you did, please give it a like, leave a comment down below, consider subscribing, or even share it with a friend. Your views and your comments help me out tremendously. And until next time, I will see you on the next video. Peace.